Hey, Facebook family, this is your girl, Lotus Riche with Lotus Richeignites Life Coaching and Consulting, where I am bringing inspiration to every nation. Why? Because I love helping you ignite and take flight. Tonight, we have a fabulous show for you. I've got a magnificent gentleman here that's going to help us level up in our business and in everything that we try to do. Okay, so without further ado, come on in and get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in because you fit right here, right around the table, okay? Come on in. Make sure you bring a notepad and a pencil. Make sure you bring a notepad and a pencil. Why? Because you are going to need it. You are going to need it. You're going to need it. Why? Because he is going to give you some tips and some tricks to help yourself along as you take this wonderful information. Okay, so come on in, and get in where you fit in. So I know many of you have been wondering how to level up your business and how to ignite and take flight. So tonight we're going to share some tips with you on that, okay? And as we share these tips with you, you are welcome to go ahead and text us and let us know that you like what he's saying and you want to hear more. And it looks like something's going on with the podcast. So let me see. It says it looks like the broadcast was deleted on Facebook to stream to Facebook. So create a new broadcast or just remove one of the destinations. So give me a second, Charles, and I'm going to go ahead and see if I can go live. It won't let me do it. So I'm going to edit it. Give me a quick second. And instead of the schedule, let me see. Let's see here. Let's do that. All right, hold on one second. Something happened here, and I'm not sure what all happened, but let me see. Let's just go back here. Let's remove this one. Okay, and let's go there. All right, and let's go back, which is odd. And I'm going to save that change. And now I'm going to try to go live again. Was I live? Okay, it looks like I'm live. Okay, so if I've got somebody there, we were trying something new. If I'm live, go ahead and put down a 1. Put down a 1 and let me know that you're with us. Put down a 1 and let me know that you're with us. Okay, put down a 1 and let me know that you're with us. All right. All right, do you see a 1? I don't see a 1 yet. Okay, I see a thumbs up from somebody. So thank you so much. Put it down in the comments so I can see it because I'm not getting anything in the comments. Okay, it looks like I'm live on Lotus Richeignites. Okay, or well, I was. Let me go ahead and make an edit right quick. Let's see. All right, so I was live on Lotus Richeignites. It looks like it went to the Lotus Richeignites and I wanted it to go elsewhere. So let's go ahead and see if we can change that. Just hang in there with me. And we're going to go ahead and save the changes, I think. Or let me go here and let me save the change. Okay, I see you. I try to go to both of my, thank you, dear. Just hold on to it for a second. I tried to go live to both of them. So it did something weird, but it's okay. We're going to save changes and I've got all the information in, so it's doing its little thing, and we're going to go live as soon as it allows us to. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. All right, so let's see. Okay, so it looks like we're live on Lotus Riche right now. Can somebody give me a number 1 to let me know that we are out of Lotus Richeignites and then Lotus Riche's podcast? Are we there? I think I see it. Okay, so I got a thumbs up. So let's get us a little more music. All right, here we go. Here we go. So thank you for those of you that have been waiting for us and you saw us over in Lotus Riche Ignites. Excuse me. I apologize for that. So come on in. Come on in. Get in where you fit in because I got a special guest for you tonight and he is standing by. I blacked him out again for those of you that just coming in. You just coming in. Enjoy this jazz and come on in. Get in where you fit in. Get in where you fit in. Let's see who we have on with us already. Hey there, Angie. Thank you for visiting us from Washington, D.C. How you doing? I see a couple more folks there. When you come in, come on in, come on in. Get in where you fit in. Right around my table is where I have room for you. Yes, I do. So when you come in, go ahead and put a number 1. Let me know you're here. Let me know you're here, and I'm happy that you're here. There we go. All right. Thank you so much. I see. Oh, my gosh. It's Jennifer McNeil, the author of Stripes, Strength, and Lipstick. Son Major retired. Thank you. Thank you so much, Jennifer McNeil. Man, look at here. Danielle Roman. Oh my goodness, Danielle Roman. She is amazing. She is an author, and you just made the Guinness Book of World Records. So good to see you all the way from New Jersey. And then I've got Takako Matsudaira. Hey, Takako, all the way from Japan. It is so great to see you. Thank you for coming. And I see Lakeisha Anderson all the way from California. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Well, ladies and soon to be gentlemen, Daisy. Daisy is all the way from South Carolina. Hey, Daisy, I see you. Thanks for joining me. And out of Ohio, Jeff Martinet Jr. Come on in and get in where you fit in because you know you fit right here. Now, listen, I have a wonderful special guest for you today. Those of you that are here, I want you to welcome Mr. Charles Marcus. He is a best-selling author. He is just a master of success. He's like, if you needed a mentor, if you needed somebody to show you how to do what you need to do, this man, Mr. Charles Marcus, is the man. Now, he's spoken all over the world in so many countries, and he'll help me list them for you later today. So get your notepad, get your pen, get your pencil. You don't need an eraser. To make sure you take notes because what he's giving you today, people pay millions of dollars for. But today, he's coming here to help you, help yourself, ignite, and take flight. So what I want you to do for me, if you want to see Mr. Marcus, Mr. Charles Marcus, the #1 New York Times best-selling author, he is also a co-author of, that's right, you guessed it, Chicken Soup for the Soul. If you want to see him, put a number 2 down below. In the first number 2 I see, I'm going to bring in none other than Charles Marcus. Up, there we go. Got it too. Charles, hey, how are you?
I'm good, Lotus. How are you?
I'm amazing. I'm so amazing. It is so good to see you. Thank you so much for joining me. I so appreciate you. Oh my gosh. We got Marielle all the way from Australia, right? I think she's all the way in Australia. Good to see you. Danielle Roman, she's out of Passaic, New Jersey. We've got folks out of Ohio. Just so wonderful. I tell you, Jeff Martinet out of Ohio, Lakeisha Anderson out of California. Just people from all over. Emilio Roman, he is like a spiritual guru. You've got to meet Emilio Roman. Oh my goodness. Just so many wonderful people. Angela Elting, so great to see you. Oh, Robert J. Moore. Robert J. Moore, let me show you. Robert J. Moore is the author of The Magnetic Entrepreneur, and he and I and about 125 other authors made Guinness World history about 2 weeks ago. And it was phenomenal. So good to see you. And Robert J. Moore is joining us all the way from Canada. So thank you, Robert, for being on with us. Takako Matsudaira, She is the interpreter for this man right here, Eddie Jones, who won the World Rugby Cup. So thank you for seeing us about 4 years ago. And this year, he placed second in the World Rugby Cup. So thank you for joining us. Man, wow. We have some awesome folks here tonight. So, woo!
Whoa, he's right.
Charles, we're going to get right into it. So listen, I just want to thank you for coming on. I know you had a lot going on, and I know you're super busy. I know you're getting ready to be out of the country. So just thank you for being here. So for those of you that's just joining us, please welcome Mr. Charles Marcus. He's a best-selling author of Success is Not a Spectator Sport, and he's a co-author of Chicken Soup of the Soul. So many of you may have heard of him. So Charles, as you know, I know you got your water with you.
I've got my water. That's right, love. Got
So
my
while
water.
everybody's coming on there, let's go ahead and take a sip.
Yeah, you gotta hydrate.
Yes, yes, yes. So Charles, you have lived an extraordinary life that most people, they only can dream about. You've gone from rags to riches. You've had desperation, you've had humiliation, and you've still been able to make a real impact and inspiration on people's lives. So tonight, I'm so happy that you're here to share your story. And I know when I reached out to you, one of the first things I said was, okay, I'm gonna ask you a series of questions, and I need you to answer them for me, right? And one of the first questions I asked them folks was, what is your intention for being on my show? Because I don't like to just bring anybody on. I really bring people on to help all of the folks out there that's trying to level up their life in every area. I really bring them on to help you. So Charles, all right, I said to you, what was your intention? So what did you say to me?
Well, firstly, it's fantastic out to be on. It's a blessing, and thank you so much for the opportunity and to speak to everybody all over the world. That's fantastic. I believe I said to you, and I try and speak out from my heart, and to be authentic is to really to give back and to impact and inspire people. And I really believe if you do things for the right thoughts and reasons, if you're a good human being, things will come back out to you. So always out to do something from the heart, to give back. And whatever I'm able to share with people, I always try to touch, to impact, to inspire, but also is to listen, as everybody has a story.
Yes.
As long as we take the time to shut up and listen to that person's story.
I love that. I love that. And what he also said to me, he said a couple of things. He said that he cares deeply about people, and he wanted to talk about their journey and share their journey and share stories that resonated with, if he shared a story that resonated with just even one person out there, then with him, it made a difference, and with sharing their story, he said, I just feel blessed. So by golly, when I'm telling you, Charles, when you said that, I was like, yeah, I definitely want you on my show. Because
thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. You've been all over the world. I mean, you've been everywhere. I mean, you're like, Charles is like ranked as one of the top 60 motivational speakers in the world. And he's spoken in like over 50 countries in his 20-year career. And then I know you're getting ready to go somewhere now, but we're not going to let that out the bag. Okay. So I really felt really honored to have you here. And tonight, folks, we're gonna talk about some of his stories as far as his life, how he went from rags to riches, how he became a #1 best-selling author, and has been recognized by the New York Times. Because I know many of you out there are trying to write books, and a lot of you are being taken advantage of. But Charles is going to share his powerful story with us. So, and Charles, I know you got a real powerful story. You shared it with me personally. So, will you kind of share your story with us and tell us a little bit about your expertise and stuff like that?
Yeah, well, thank you very much.
Welcome.
So, how to succinct it is, I'm from Manchester, England originally, got my English accent. I have lived in Canada for the last 31 years, in Toronto. And I guess my story started from a very early age of about 5. And I was out with my parents, and somehow I got separated in this huge forest, and nobody could find me. And about 17 hours, I was lost in this forest. It was 4.5, 5. 4 of the rescuers found me, and I was out in this forest all the time, obviously scared to death, feared. And that started off a journey of 25 years of a severe speech problem, a disability, an impediment, fear. And I have to be, have to be straightforward here. Is I always say, if you really want to succeed in life, is you have to learn first to fail greatly. And I tell you, I failed greatly for many years. Had no courage. I was always the victim instead of the victor. And as you know, is the victim who gives control, and the victor takes control. So when I was growing up in England with a huge disability, everybody making fun of me, humiliating me. That's one thing. However, I have to be honest, and I have to say I didn't have the courage for many years to take stock and charge of my life. However, it is never too late, and that's the beauty of life. We can change. Every day is a new beginning. Write your story every day, and that's what I did after 25 years.
Wow, that's amazing. When you and I talked, we talked about some of the struggles that you faced. We talked about you working for a company and then deciding to step out on your own. And as many of the viewers know, I've come through different hardships, physical ailments that kept me back, and things of that nature. And I've worked for companies that have been spectacular. I've worked for Eastman Kodak, which was one of the most powerful companies on the planet. And I've worked for all kinds of companies, but guess what? When they had budget problems, when they had issues where they had to cut back, guess what? I was cut back too. Absolutely. And so it propelled me into doing something for myself. And that resonated with me when I read about you. I read your story and you talked about that. So can you tell us a little bit about how you maneuvered from there to doing what you do as far as helping people become their very best?
Well, firstly, is what I had to learn is how to help myself first. Because if you don't like or respect or to love yourself first, how can you out to give that? So finally, after 25 years of my speech disability, and I won't go into all the details, but eventually I realized is I was at the end of my tether. And I'm sure a lot of people who are listening here who can resonate sometimes with all I think have been there, rock bottom. And I had to make a decision, or either I would end up in a gutter, dead or whatever, or I would finally focus on my life. And I did 4 things. Is the first thing is vision.
Hold on. Because he said 4 things. So you know what time that is. That's time to get your notepad. That's time to get your pencil, get your crayon, get your pen, whatever you have to write with. Ladies, get your eyebrow pencil. It don't matter. But you need to write this down. Write this down. So thank you, Charles, for letting me interrupt you for a moment. But please go ahead, because they need to write this stuff down.
So the first thing is vision.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you want to go in your life? Are you happy with your life? Are you not happy?
Mm-hmm.
How do you see yourself in 3 days, 3 weeks, 3 months, 3 years? What are your dreams? Find your why. Find your purpose. And once you find your why, and I'm not the first person who has said this, you find your how. But you gotta find your why. Who's going to be on your team? Who's going to help you out with your dreams, with your vision? See, today it's not enough to just dream. We must act. And it's not enough to just think. We must plan. Dreams. Where do you want to go? How are you going to get there? And I always say, even today with technology, dreams in writing are goals with deadlines. As Brian Tracy says, if it's not on paper, it's just a thought. It's not an action statement. So the first thing is vision. The second thing is courage. Courage, I think, is the most noble of principles. To get out of your comfort zone, to get out of the status quo. Stop feeling sorry for yourself. See, I always say with courage, courage is being scared to death, but doing it anyway. Fear is a reaction, but courage, Lotus, is a decision.
Awesome. Wow.
The third principle is responsibility. Many people, if I think of my own story, many people can help you along the way, and there's wonderful people. However, ultimately, who has to do it? We have to do it ourselves. We have to be accountable. I talk about, no more excuses, no spin. A famous Englishman, Sir Winston Churchill, said, the price of greatness is responsibility.
Wow.
Fourth thing is commitment. Vision is wonderful. Courage is noble. Responsibility is important.
Wow.
But if you don't have commitment, if you're not dedicated, if you're not 110% in, it's never going to happen for you. And when you have commitment, that eliminates any options. You move forward. And those were the 4 principles I wrote down in 1986 when I decided to finally stop being a victim, as I wanted to be a victor.
Wow. So commitment.
Yeah. And commitment is, I always say about commitment, I say, is you're either in or you're out, and there's no in between, my friends.
Wow.
No in between. 110% focused, no distractions, no dream stealers, no toxic people. You focus on what you want to do.
So let me make sure we got this right. And those were powerful statements you just made, because I want to make sure that I got this right. And I see a lot of comments, and I'm going to get to the comments in a minute while he's taking a sip. The first thing I heard him say was vision. You have to have a vision. Where do you want to go? What is your why? You got to know your why, because your why is going to sustain you when you're feeling discouraged. Your why is going to sustain you when the theys tell you that you can't. Your why is going to sustain you when you don't have any money in your pocket. Your why is going to push you forward through the times of hardship and lack. And then number 2, I always talk about this, and I do a talk on it takes courage. And you talked about my buddy Tracy, and I wanted to reach back and grab his book, but I actually have it in my room. So you talked about courage, and you said that we got to have courage even if it scares us to death. How many of you have been tasked to do something, right? Especially being an entrepreneur, and you were so scared, you felt paralyzed. How many of you felt that? If you've ever felt that, put a 3 down below. Put a 3 in the comments, okay? If you ever felt scared, because Charles said you got to have courage even if it scares you to death. And then 3, I heard you say you got to take responsibility.
You have to take responsibility. And to just say, excuse me, on number 2 on courage, here's what I would say as well. Do one thing a day that makes you feel uncomfortable. One thing a day that scares you. Small steps. And if you do one thing a day that just gets you out of your comfort zone, in 30 days, you will be ahead of 90% of the people on the globe. And the reason is most people will not do one thing a year that scares them. Think what everybody else is doing and run a mile and do is the 10% that most people won't do. I remember somebody saying to me a long time ago, Charles, it seems hard work, all this success. Success is hard work. There's no free lunch. The only free lunch is in mouse traps, and they usually bite.
So, Charles, I love that you came back to courage, because what I realized over my life is that a lot of times things that kept me from doing exactly what I'm doing right now is this earth-shaking thing we call fear.
Yep.
And so many people get trapped in fear, and they don't take what you said. The third thing is they don't take responsibility for the fear, so they can't even get committed to what they want to do because they're stuck in fear because they don't have the courage. So I'm hearing you say, we have to stomp out fear, false evidence appearing real, with courage.
But I'm not here to tell you it's easy. It is not easy, Lotus, but life is not easy, my friend. And as I said, fear is a reaction. It's reactionary. It's not a real thing, but courage, if you really dig down and you believe, fear is a bully, it's a coward, it will run a mile. If you can either face your fears or be paralyzed with fear. And I know only too well for many years about being really paralyzed with fear. And once I was able to control my fears, small steps, life started to change for me. It takes discipline, it takes commitment, it takes focus, it takes belief, it takes desire. Life is not about deserve. Life is about desire, my friend. What price do you want to pay? What sacrifices are you willing to make? And there is a price to pay, and that's not like motivational, yeah, that is reality. I say humbly.
Yes. Wow. Awesome. Napoleon Hill, Think and Grow Rich.
Oh my God.
He's one of my mentors. I call on him in the spiritual realm because at the end of the day, we really have to understand that he is giving us a schematic. He's given us a schematic so that we can get to where we're trying to go. And I'm so happy that you said it's not about rah, rah, yah. It's about the reality of that. We have to really overcome the fear. But before we can do it all, Napoleon Hill said, we got to have the burning desire. We got to have that vision so that we know where we're going. And
plus,
then
you've got to know your purpose. You've got to know
exactly.
your purpose.
Exactly. And Dr. Sandra Brooks is usually on out of South Carolina, out of Georgia, and she wrote a book called The Pursuit of Purpose. And I always recommend that book to people. Why? Because if you don't know your purpose, then how are you going to get to where you're going? Because really, you can't be committed to anything if you don't know what the purpose is. How are you going to be responsible to it? How are you going to overcome fear if you can't walk in your purpose? And that's a part of what I do, and that's a part of what you do. And I'm so happy that you're here. And folks, I want to take a couple of your questions. I see some questions coming up from you. We've got Simone Rose. She's out of Canada.
Yes, where I live. Hi, Rose.
Yeah, Lakeisha says, all the way from California. She says, just bringing the real. This thing is like super getting hot. So I'm going to click over and pull up some questions. Oh, my goodness. Deborah Kafaro. Kafaro was all the way in Japan with me. Deborah, where are you at now?
I'm going to Japan in September.
Awesome.
Yeah.
And Dwayne L. Touche is here. Hey, Dwayne, where are you from? Are you in Africa right now? Let us know where you're at. And what I'm going to do, let's go ahead and take a sip. And while I take a sip, I'm going to go ahead and pull up some comments. And we have Joycelyn Mack all the way out of Georgia. Good to see you, Joycelyn. She's been on with us for a minute. I wanted to acknowledge you.
Fantastic. And something else I want to share as well. If you want to be successful, and all of us define, obviously, success in different things, is one ingredient which is very important is passion. Passion sells, enthusiasm is contagious, and be authentic. Be the real deal.
Be the real deal. Be the real
deal. Don't
be
a BS person.
Let me grab this. Be the real deal and dream big.
Dream big,
be the real deal. That's right. Okay.
I always say is you will be disappointed if you fail, but you will be doomed to failure if you don't try, Lotus.
Oh, wow. That's amazing. And you know, I'm gonna share this with you. And I share this with people. A long time ago, when I was in Japan, I say a long time ago, but I remember that I didn't want to share with people like my story, the story of, you know, some of my family members being on drugs, and me going into different places, helping to pull them out with my parents. My parents went in and got my aunt out of a place they called a shooting gallery, and the shooting gallery was a place where drug addicts go to get their drugs, and some people in there would turn tricks. And I was scared of that. You know, I was scared to share with people about my family members who were addicted to alcohol. And the funny thing is that I was a substance use counselor. And when I began, see, God knows where to put you. When I began doing that overseas, what I realized was that my story was my power.
Yes. Oh, I like that.
It gave me transparency. And I began to tell people what I had experienced in my life. I began to tell people some of my fears and some of my doubts and things that had come through my mind about suicide, you know, and suicidality.
Hey, I've been there.
I began to tell people about being a victim of rape as a 6-year-old child. But before that, I was ashamed. I was ashamed of all that. And it's something you said earlier, you know, we give away our power when we allow people to have power over us because of the fear.
Absolutely. And I was ashamed for the years and years of my speech. And people who used to prejudge me about the way I spoke, they thought I was stupid, I was an idiot, instead of actually had to take the time out to get to know me. But I was always ashamed for many, many years. It wasn't my fault, but I just felt ashamed. I didn't have any self-esteem. And, you know, I kept getting, as I'm sure a lot of your viewers again, down and we're beat up and this. And then at the end, it's just like we almost, like we give up. But the human mind endures.
Yep. And you know, you're so right. I've got a superstar. She's a singing sensation. Harriet Lewis, thank you for joining me. She's watching from Budapest, Hungary. She said, I
Hey,
love
Harriet.
what is being said. It's very encouraging. And she's prior military as well, just a dynamic person and a dynamic singer. So thank you for joining us all the way from Budapest. And I want to take a couple of things. Marielle, she said, your story is your power. Yes,
Oh, I
like
love
I said,
that.
my story is my power. My story is my power. And I had to share that. So I want to take a couple of quick questions and comments. So let's go right here first, all the way to California. We're going with Lakeisha Anderson. Lakeisha said, transparency is your power. People fear people who can be real because you have nothing to hide or make you weak. That's power. What do you think about that?
You know what I say? I think that's fantastic. I say clarity is power. If you have complete sort of self-belief and clarity, is you have power. And I don't mean power to be a big shot over somebody. I just mean in your own mind that you feel invincible. See, I always say is the impossible is just the untried.
Yes. And we've got Wendy Ford. She's all the way here. I think Wendy's out of Ohio too. Wendy, let us know where you're at. But Wendy said, tell your story to build your brand. Wendy is an entrepreneur. Her husband has served several terms in the military. He's retired Marine, just an amazing power couple. And
Wow.
It's great to have you guys on with me. I really appreciate it. And we're going to go up and we're going to look at Danielle Roman. She had a comment. She said, it took me a long time to get out of my comfort zone and face my fears. And now I am achieving things I never thought I could. And like I said, Charles, she's one of the Guinness World Record holders.
Wow.
And she's a #1 international best-selling author, and she's doing some amazing work. And I can't wait. Danielle and I and Emilio, we're about to do some things together. And Daniela, thank you for sharing that with us, because that is powerful. You do have to get out your comfort zone.
You have to get out of your comfort zone. It's it's the most because if you stay in your comfort zone, it's a very nice place, but it's gonna get you absolutely nowhere. Change is not easy, but change is important.
Yes.
A change, a disruption today, and and to innovate. But if is you have, I know 3 things about change. If you resist change, you fail.
Yes.
If you accept change, you survive.
Wow.
But for those of us, the bold, the beautiful, the confident who run towards change, we will succeed.
Wow. I've never heard it put like that, but man, that's something that'll knock your socks off. Simone Rose said, love you, Lotus Riche. This message here is a blessing for me tonight.
Thank you,
Simone Rose. Simone Rose is also a #1 international best-selling author, made Guinness World Record history. I love what we got right here. Marielle said, be the real deal. Dream big. All right. And Lakeisha said, bring the real. So I know Simone Rose had a comment, so I wanted to read this.
Yeah.
Simone, I think Simone's coming all the way out of Canada. So thank you, Simone, for being here. Go ahead and put down where you're from. She said, I choose to face all my fear, because that is how we get successful in life. It will not be easy, but with hard work and dedication, I know I will make it. And so can you, if only you believe in yourself and never give up.
Wow.
What do you think about that? That's
wow. I could not say that any better myself. I think that's profound, and it's very, I think the #1 thing in life, out to piggyback on Simone's very eloquent statement here is the number one thing, if I happen to think of my own story out with my speech, is the number one thing in business, if you're going to be an author, an entrepreneur, get over disability, whatever, is you have to believe. Deep down, you have to have belief is the catalyst for everything. If you don't believe truly it's going to happen for you, straight away is you're at a disadvantage, and you have to somehow to draw on those strengths. And you know, the human mind and body, all of us have incredible strengths, incredible survival. I'm traveling all over the world. I'm meeting amazing people. And you know what I say? Even today, 90% of people are good people. Yes, 90% of people. I believe if you are respectful and humble and you take an interest, and there's always is the 10%, but most people, if you have common courtesy and good manners, and you take the time to truly listen out to people, you know, as I say, the greatest gift you can give anybody is the gift of your attention. If you're in the room, be in the room. Don't start on your phone or looking away. Be present. Be present. Respect people.
Be present. I love that. I love that. And I wanted to just trickle to what Sean said. I love the way that Sean put it. Sean, all the way out of Ohio, said, fear is fear, face everything and rise. And I love that, because you do have to face it in order to rise. And I love what you said earlier, because I tell people, you got to believe in the belief that you believe in yourself. Because if you don't, you're going nowhere. And so one quick thing before we leave off the podcast tonight, I see somebody's already talked about their why. We want to help you figure out your vision and your why. Figure out your vision and your why. So write down what your vision is on your notepad. Write down what your vision is. And then before we get off this podcast, I'm going to challenge each and every one of you to write your why. Because you know what? I found out this past weekend, a lot of people don't know their why. And sometimes their why is something as simple as, you know, I've got to write this book. I've got to be an entrepreneur. I've got to be the #1 best speaker in the nation, because I don't want to be poor. I want to buy my mom a new house. I'm tired of living outside, sleeping on the street. You know, I challenge you guys, get your whys together, because before we leave tonight, we're going to ask you your why. So when you go from here to tomorrow, you already got your why in hand to face the rest of your tomorrows.
And failure is part and parcel of success. Failure, 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 success. Failure, 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 success. If you, all your viewers, if you read about a person who you admire or respect, somebody famous or not famous, and you hear their story, everybody has had failure in their lives. It's not how you accept success, it's how you accept failure and you rise above. I always say is kick and scream to stay in the company of champions. Awesome. Hang out with people who are smarter than you. Yes. Learn, be a sponge, educate yourself, ask questions. Yes. See, I would rather, Lotus, I would rather choke on greatness. Yes. Than nibble on mediocrity. How about you?
I feel the same. I feel the same. And looking at some of the comments from Wendy from North Carolina and Lakeisha out in California, Lakeisha says that's exactly it. And Daisy from South Carolina said, just believe in yourself and stay to what you believe in. That's super powerful. And Daniela said, amen. So she
amen.
Now, those of you, if you like what you're hearing, If you like what you're hearing, go ahead and put a 4 in the comments below. Go ahead and put a 4 in the comments below. And Sean said, in the words of Greg Walker, we are all too big to dream small. And that's the truth. We're too big to dream small. And so I want to take this comment from Angela. Angela is out of Washington, D.C. And she said, I helped a Japanese woman rugby team believe in themselves, which helped them win the Asian Championship back in 2008. That was powerful for us. And let me share this with you, if I may. Angela Elting was actually the captain of the team in Japan. So to hear her say that, being harnessed with all the pressures and the strain of carrying the team on her back, to be able to help them move to the Asian Championship back in 2008, that's powerful. You know, that is so powerful. It all comes with the word that you said, believe, and you got to believe in the belief. So amazing, amazing.
You know, and I also think a lot of us in life, we make it so complicated. I always say simplicity is the ultimate sophistication.
Yes, I concur. So I see some 4s from Lakeisha, Sean, Andy. Thank you so much. Harriet Lewis, all the way overseas. Harriet Lewis, oh my God, in Budapest.
Wow, I feel privileged. What a blessing.
Amazing, amazing, amazing. So thank you so much. We definitely are learning so much here tonight. So much here tonight. So those of you, tell me, put down a comment below and tell me in the last 30 minutes, what resonates with you most? What has he given you? Because he's just been giving and giving and giving. You're like a well of youth, a youth flowing well or something. What has he given you? What has resonated with you that's going to help you help yourself ignite and take flight? What is he giving you?
Bold steps, guys.
Bold steps.
Small steps. Every day. One thing makes you feel uncomfortable. One thing a day. Write it down and do it.
Yes. Simone Rose.
Disciplined.
4. Awesome.
Be disciplined. Hey, I also say have consistency. I don't know about you. I would rather be consistently good rather than occasionally brilliant. In business especially, be consistent. No surprises. People like people who are easy to work with, who don't have attitudes or moods. And be consistent. If you see a brand out there, a great brand, and all of them are consistent in their service, in their how they treat people, and that's very important out for entrepreneurs and for people in life. Be, as you said earlier, be authentic, and to be is the real deal, and stay away from those dream stealers and toxic people who will bring you down. They want to rain on your parade because they have no damn parade of their own. Stay away from them. Kick them into touch.
That's awesome. So I got a question for you. A lot of times we have problems setting positive boundaries.
Yeah.
So what is 2 ways, just 2 ways that people can set positive boundaries?
So it's not easy, but since if I take a metaphor from my own story, is when I decided to get my speech together, it took me about 3 years. And the one thing I had to do, and it was very hard because it was family members, it was people I had to people who were negative or sarcastic, I had to cut them out of my life. So I don't hang out with anybody who's negative. Stay away from negative people. Stay away and it's not easy. I'm not here to tell you that's easy, but you have to cut. It's like on Facebook. If a person starts with comment is nice, but if somebody has an agenda and they're nasty and things, I don't have to engage them. I just unfriend them. I don't have time for that crap.
Yes.
And the second most important thing, I'm old-fashioned, is every night out before I go to bed, either I write down, I have a journal, I write down all the positive things that have happened to me, all the negative things. How could I improve? How can I be a better parent, a better friend, a better human being? And those are the two things I try and do. I cut out toxic people. And secondly, how can I get better vibes and be more positive?
Fantastic. So let me share with you this. I've shared this across the world, many places I've spoken. I use this right here. If you want to overcome some things, I mean, it really goes back again to the second thing that he gave us. The first step to getting what you want is having the courage to get rid of what you don't. So if you have people that you have to set those effective boundaries with, it might be family members. Sometimes it might be your supervisor or even your mom or your dad, because they may have negative energy. The first step to getting what you want is having the courage to get rid of what you don't. So you have to have the courage to set those effective boundaries, stay away from negative people. And like Charles said, and like Napoleon Hill says, write it down. What's going on, positive and negative? Write those things down and the opportunities to improve, and really be candid with yourself. So we've got a couple of comments as we near the end of our broadcast, folks.
Wow, it's gone so fast.
Sure did fly by, but if you want to stick with us for another 10 minutes, that would be amazing, because gosh, we got so many folks chiming in. Let me see. Okay, so I'm going to go back here and I'm going to go to the 4 where we left off. Simone was the last person that sent the 4. So thank you, Simone. And then Simone wanted to say this. I love when he spoke about commitment and dedication, because too many of us want to be successful, but we are not committed or dedicated to what we are trying to achieve in our lives. So if you agree with what Simone said, because I think all of us have seen people, they want success, but they don't want to do the work to be successful. So if you've seen people like that, and you agree with what Simone said, put a number 5 in the link below. Put a number 5 in the link below.
Something I want to share with you. I think there's many people who talk a good game, few people who play a good game.
Yes.
Success is not easy, but success is doable as long. Oh, and another thing, it may not be sexy anymore, it's common, but you gotta have a great attitude.
That's true. That's true. I concur.
So I say ability will get you started.
Yes.
Motivation will drive you. But your attitude will determine how far you go in life. I believe that so much.
Awesome. And Lakeisha Anderson said, yes, we are. She said that Charles is a wealth of knowledge. And that is so true. Yes, you are a wealth of knowledge.
So you're talking of knowledge.
Yes.
So I always say is knowledge is the accumulation of all the facts, and wisdom is in its simplification.
Wow, that's powerful. Sean said, we're talking also about the law of attraction.
Oh, Sean's right on, man. Yep.
Okay, so Harriet Lewis, all the way out of Budapest, she said the power of self-belief, holding on to your authenticity forward
We talked
movement
about that.
in spite of negative surroundings. Wow.
You focus, go on you. You got to focus on you. And it's not selfish. It's for many years as a stutterer, stutterers are trying to please other people, and that's very nice. However, if you don't please, as I said earlier, yourself,
Yes.
and love and self-respect yourself, nothing's going to happen, because you're going to get down and all the negativity and beat up and all the horrible things you used to say to me. You're a loser. You're you know, horrible, horrible, horrible. You know what I used to say underneath? They laughed at me because I was different.
Yes.
But I felt sorry for them because they were all the same.
Yes. So I'm going to pull this up. Sean says the power of belief is amazing. Harriet Lewis said, letting go of the past and living in the present. Very powerful. And then we have, Lakeisha says, yes, Mom. Pressing forward is key. You must commit to yourself first, because everyone will not see what you see. Okay. So awesome, awesome, awesome. Now, here we go.
Great statement. Wow.
Yes, yes. Powerful statement. Look, I got some folks on here that are just explosive. All the way from Australia. Marielle says, you have to have self-belief to get anywhere in life. Where you end up is where your self-belief takes you. So stay away from negative people and believe in yourself. And let me share this with you. I've got to grab this because I just had this passed to me. We have none other than Mr. Unstoppable himself. Terrence Leffridge is on with us all the way from Florida. He said, practice hashtag consistently being good instead of hashtag occasionally brilliant. I'm stealing that quote, Charles. I'll give you the credit.
So here's what I want to say about practice is not something you do when you're good. Practice is something you do that makes you good. Every day you take those steps to be better, to be to be focused, to be committed, to be dedicated, to have belief, to be disciplined. Jim Rohn said if you think of discipline, it's the bridge between your goals and accomplishments.
Yes.
My favorite of all the quotes in the world, and a huge influencer to me, was Jim Rohn.
Yes.
And his quote that resonates with me is, don't wish it were easier, wish you were better.
Wow, that's powerful.
Wish it were easier, wish you were better. So every day, step up your game. Step up your game, all of you guys.
Yep. Hey, Charles, Daisy out of South Carolina said, cut negative off. They only slow you down. Believing in yourself is the key. Wow.
Hallelujah. Power.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And so I'm going to take one more comment from Simone Rose.
Simone is great.
Yes. Yes, Charles. Marcus, you are absolutely right about avoiding negative people. I have cut off many negative people off my Facebook and in my life. And TBH, my life is so much better now without them. So let me ask you this, Charles.
Yeah.
We got a lot of fives. People are loving to hear what you got to say.
Oh,
and you know,
I feel so honored.
You know, it's you know, Lakeisha said that humbling yourself to learn, because that's how you grow. Mistake, failures are lessons, learn from them. This is definitely a learning experience for all of us on here. And a lot of us have a lot of commonality. You know, don't wish it's easier. Wish you were better. I love that. Sean also resonated with that as well. So wonderful. I'm getting a lot of hearts and loves and thumbs up from all around the world. Oh my gosh. Thank you everybody so much for saying these things. So You have given us so much value. Those of you that feel you've gotten some value on this call tonight, hit me with a 6.
Oh
A 6.
my
Hit me
God.
with a 6 in the comments
I can
below
feel
because
the
I want to
love.
show him. That's right. Hit me with a 6 in the comments below. There we go.
Wow. Oh.
Hey, look. Morel said, Marcus, you basically are Bible knowledge. You're Bible of knowledge. You are Bible of knowledge. Oh my gosh.
Thank you.
Okay, so we got 6 from Mr. Unstoppable.
Thank you, Terrence. Thank you, sir.
Of you, yes, those of you that's on, please put down in the comment below who you are and what you do. Many of you I know you're authors. I know that you are show hosts and things of that nature. Harriet Lewis, one of the most phenomenal singers on the planet.
Wow.
She sang in Europe for many, many years, and she's over in Budapest right now. So if you're going to Budapest, if you're going to Dubai or anything like that, hit me up. Let me know. I'll find out if she's on tour over there so you can get a ticket to a show. I'm telling you, you will be blessed and amazed. Now, Simone said, this man is amazing. I'm so blessed to be a part of this right here. You are amazing too, Miss Lovely. Thank you so much.
Yes, she is.
So
Thank you,
much.
Simone.
Simone is 6.
5 for you.
Harriet is 6.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Continue to feel better, Lotus. Thank you. As everybody know, I've been battling a little bit of cold, but we're here. We're here, and I'm so happy to be here. So we got so many 6s, Daisy, Angela.
What a blessing.
So many 6s. So thank you so much. I sure appreciate you. I sure appreciate you.
Oh, well, I can feel the love. I can feel the love tonight. Wow.
Yes. It's
what
amazing.
A blessing.
So I wanted to take this time, folks. Thank you so much for sharing that. I wanted to take this time to find out. I mean, you've given us so much value. And it's not just me saying it. Everybody's on the podcast is saying you've given us so much value. I want to thank your wife, Mary. Mary has been his backbone and has been his support. She was his support system when I talked to him and he talked to me, and I found out his wife's name was Mary. Well, guess what? My mother's name is Mary. So I was like bowled over when I heard that. So I'm going to say to you, make sure you find someone who will support you, who'll be a support system, and also look for a mentor. And you can follow Charles and follow his ways, and he'll give you great information. He is the author of a few books, but a couple of the books I'm going to tell you about right here is 101 Great Ways to Improve Your Life, Your Dreams. Charles Marcus Live CD. He has a CD he can give you. And then we're going to talk about some events that you have coming up. I know you're headed to Japan in September, correct?
Yeah, in September though. I go a week on Monday out to Bali, Indonesia, out to Dubai, Qatar, Florida, France, Australia again, and go all over the place. Yeah, crazy. So
you need to connect with Harriet Lewis when you go over to Dubai. She is a singing sensation.
So I'm going to
fight off the paparazzi to get to her. But
so Harriet, I'm going to be in Dubai from March the 22nd to the 27th.
All right. So make sure you connect. And then you got Takako Matsudara out of Japan. She is a top-notch translator. I think I've shared that information.
Yes, I'm going to be there in September.
Yeah. So if you have a translator already, you need a translator. She's actually starting a seminar soon. She's translating for a big seminar this week, but she'll be looking forward to watching the reply. So if you need somebody, a backup translator, Takako Matsudara is your person. She's phenomenal.
Awesome.
All right. So those of you that's on, please put down who you are, what you do. And if you have a show, if you have a podcast, please, if you're interested in having Mr. Charles Marcus on, you already see that he's phenomenal. Reach out to me and let me know. and I will make sure he gets back with you. And so somebody's pulling some information down.
I'm gonna put my website underneath.
Oh, okay, I got you. So Terrence says, where are you going to be? Where are you going to be in Florida?
I'm going to be it's on the Gulf side, Fort Myers, Naples area.
All right, Fort Myers, Maples area, you said?
Yeah, and Sarasota.
Right. Okay, I got it. In Sarasota. So let me grab this right here. I want to make sure I get all that. So did you get that, Terrence? He's going to be in Sarasota. Okay, he's going to be in Sarasota. And those of you, Simone wanted to let you know she's from Toronto, Ontario. Okay.
So if you ask her the area she's from in Toronto.
Yeah, she said Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
Right.
Okay, fantastic. So let me grab this because
so that's
folks,
where I live.
I'm going to do. Oh, that's where you live. Oh, fantastic. So
yeah.
If she needs a mentor, I mean, you're right there. So folks, if you want to pick up on any of his information, his books, he has a store. You can go there. I'm going to give you his information. And if you have a company or you're on a tour of any type and you're interested in hiring Charles for your upcoming important speaking or training events, please email him. You can reach his executive assistant, Julie Grant, at juliecmarcus.com for more information and his availability. Okay. And you can follow Charles on Instagram at Charles Marcus 4036 and on Twitter at Charles M Canada. And you can also find him on Facebook as well.
Yes, on Facebook.
Phenomenal. Okay, and let me put this in here for you as well. I'm going to give you one other piece of information. Let me put that there for you. Okay, here we go. And if you look down there, you can reach out to Charles at www.cmarcus.com. Okay, and reach out to him and let him know that you're interested in having him come speak. And he will be delighted to speak for you. As you see, he's a keynote presenter and he's just amazing. He has training and consultations. Can all of you see the screen that I'm sharing with you? Give me a thumbs up if you can see the screen that I'm sharing with you. Okay. All right. Sure, Daisy, I got you. Daisy wants me to make sure I let everybody know about the Team Bullying Summit in Atlanta. There's a Team Bullying Summit coming up in another week or so. Please put the information down below so that everybody can see it. A Team Bullying Summit is coming up in Atlanta, Georgia. Wanda, the motivational queen, Wanda D. Hollis is hosting that in Atlanta, Georgia. If you want some information, if you want to help support that, please let me know. And I'm happy that you guys can see that. As you see, he's a keynote speaker. He does various presentations. He's a training consultant, and he has an online store. Okay, you can go to his online store, as you can see, and he has special offers for Australia only and for New Zealand. I've got folks out in New Zealand too that I'm sure would love to talk to you. And then he has this book right here that I talked to you about earlier, 101 Great Ways to Improve Your Life. It's only $24.95. You can buy it Visa, MasterCard, Discover, American Express, and even PayPal, okay? And for booking information, all you got to do is go right here and click on that, and it'll give you some booking information, because everyone needs, if you're having an awesome event, everyone needs a great keynote speaker. Thank you so much. So I will call you later, Daisy, for information. I see that you're asking that. And Danielle Roman and Emilio Roman, they're book publishers out of New Jersey, Spiritual Fitness Survivor Series, and they are Guinness Book World Record holders as well. I'm going to put their information up, but I want you guys to go ahead and get this information that I have showing right now. You can simply call or you can email him. His number is 1-905-330-8828. and that's in Canada, or you can use 1-716-777-1357 USA. So go ahead and jot that down and make sure you get one of his many books. He is the author of like Success is Not a Spectator Sport. You can get that. Live Your Dream, Doctor's Orders. You can also get The Attitude of Success. You can get his Charles Marcus live CD. It's only $24.99. And the Attitude of Success pins that he sells, they're only $9.95. So be sure to get that. And as you already know, he is one of the co-authors of Chicken Soup for what? The Soul. That's right. Okay, so I'm going to come back to you over here. And I'm going to turn the screen off, so please make sure you've got all of that. And right before we go, we've got like 16 comments, so I want to make sure I get the 16 comments before we go so that they can connect with you, Charles. Okay, so I go up here, and I'm going to show Daniela's information. You can reach Daniela Roman. You can email them at spiritualfitnesscoach@gmail.com. Please go ahead and write that information down. I'm going to leave that up there for you. And if you missed something, please don't hesitate to just hit a replay. And those of you that's on, please go ahead. If you haven't already, please start a watch party. Start a watch party. Start a watch party. Start a watch party. Okay, and Harriet Lewis wanted to say, I will give him a shout out. I will look him up on his website, okay? All right. And Emilio Roman says, go ahead, let's get your story told. Fantastic. So I hope I was able to share your information. I want to thank each and every one of you for being on here tonight. Simone Rose, I really appreciate it. From Toronto, Ontario, Canada. She said, I will be publishing my book soon following a movie. She said that her book will be so powerful, everyone here will need a copy. Check me out on Facebook and follow my pregnancy journey. I am doing a powerful book about my pregnancy journey where I almost died carrying my son. And in the end, I had to bury my son. She said, trust me, you will want to read my book. It will bless you so much. And I got to tell you, I heard her story personally, and she is a dynamic person. And Charles has one more piece of information that he wants to share with us. I'm going to copy that right now, and I'm going to put it up here for you before we get ready to close. Let me get that up here for you. Okay. All right. So for those of you that want to look at some of his posts and some of his articles that he shares, here's some information for you. And he was so kind to add on some other stuff. Please go ahead and copy that information so you can reach out to him. Again, if you have any wonderful events and you need a keynote speaker, Charles is your man. So Charles, as we get ready to go, is there anything that you would want to say to our audience? And before we go, I promised you all that we would ask the one question. What is your why? What is your why? Take a moment to put it down below, and you can replay this. And when you feel a little off kilter and that you're not focused, come back to this podcast and look at your why and keep on moving. What is your why? So with that question being asked, Charles, could you please give us one thing that you would say that you would want to share with folks as we close this podcast?
Well, firstly, I want to thank everybody and yourself also, for having me on. It's been a privilege. It's been really fantastic. If there's one thing I would say, and it's repeating, I think a thing I sent at the beginning is, again, it's belief. I think it really is. It boils down out to belief. If you, as said before about your why, if you find your why, that's great. And then you're going to find your how. But first and foremost, whatever you want to do, to me, it comes back to belief. Do you really believe you can succeed out to climb the mountain. So you got to find your why, but you really have to dig down, find fantastic help and mentors and people, and believe in your abilities, believe in your self-doubt, and good things happen to good people. And I think it was, and the final thing I want to say, it was Robert Schuller who said this. He says, tough times don't last, but tough people do.
Right. Fantastic.
Thank you, everybody. It's been fantastic. Great experience, and a big shout out to Lotus as well. Hope you get better, my friend.
Thank you, dear. And a shout out to Brent Michael Connors, who's just joined in. Thank you, Brent. I know you're probably from overseas, and we're happy to have you here. And thank you, everybody that just came on. I really appreciate you. And let's see. Oh, Lotus, please correct the email address on the screen. Fantastic. Okay, there we go. There we go. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Terrence. Yeah, I typed it wrong. Yeah.
It's okay. That's okay. See, that's why we have these powerful people that set in positive boundaries. Terrence is the unstoppable guy, helping all of us to be unstoppable. So thank you so much. And those of you that have shows, podcasts, please, if you're interested in having Mr. Charles Marcus on your podcast, let me know and I'll make sure he gets your information. And with that being said, I thank every one of you for being here tonight. We couldn't do what we do without you. So for everybody out there, it's time to ignite and take flight. So thank you so much. You're amazing. I don't own the rights to this music, but it's funky jazz. It makes you feel good. So enjoy it and have a good night, and check out the Love Doctor for funky jazz. Believe in yourself. Thank you.